Yes, you heard me correctly. Kirk Frost was arrested for allegedly assaulting Rasheeda. The details are messy, I promise. Kirk Frost truly believed he could continue to get away with this mess, but the truth just knocked on his front door while wearing handcuffs. Before you say, "No, Kirk," again, I'll say, "Yes," again. And this time, it's not just some scandal or secret baby drama. According to reports, police were called to the Frost residence following an explosive altercation that left Rasheeda crying. And Kirk was escorted out in handcuffs, appearing to have just realized what was happening. His entire empire is on the verge of collapsing. Hold on, things get worse. Rumor has it that this isn't just a single altercation, but rather the result of years of treachery, shady business dealings, and emotional warfare. Did Rasheeda finally reach her breaking point? And did Kirk lose it because his dark secrets were? I don't even know whether this is going to be revealed or if it's just another dirty chapter in the endless Frost saga. Either way, grab some popcorn and sit tight, because once you hear the facts of what actually happened that night, you might never look at Kirk and Rasheeda the same way again. We've seen Kirk Frost in some awkward circumstances previously due to cheating, scandals, side babies, and shady business practices, but is the next level. Kirk Frost is currently incarcerated after reportedly assaulting. Let me tell you the details of this incident. They're going to blow your mind. It was a normal night at the Frost household, or so everyone assumed. Kirk and Rasheeda were home together. Rasheeda? Yes, the Rasheeda. And before you all say, "Oh, it's just another messy celebrity couple fight," presumably acting as though their entire business isn't in ruins, but tension had been building behind closed doors for months. To be honest, are we even shocked by all that Kirk has done to Rasheeda over the years? Cheating scandals, financial manipulation, public humiliation. This man was fortunate, according to sources close to the marriage who are always trustworthy. Rasheeda recently confronted Kirk about some dubious business dealings he had been involved in. She hadn't left him yet, but this time she didn't simply consider leaving. She made it known. Rumor has it that Kirk was secretly transferring funds from their joint accounts to private ventures. And guess what? Those ventures allegedly involved another woman. That's right. While Rasheeda was out there establishing an empire and controlling Kirk, this man was allegedly out there securing financing. You are already aware, Rasheeda has endured a lot with Kirk. We witnessed how she supported him during the entire Jasmine Washington paternity drama. And yes, in case you were unaware, Kirk had a whole side baby on Rasheeda while grinning in her face as though he was the ideal husband. This is what reportedly happened. It was late at night, and while looking through financial records, Rasheeda noticed some significant discrepancies. Even after Kirk was caught creeping several times, Rasheeda stayed, but she stole money from her. Oh, that was the last straw. False business identities appeared in their records, and large sums of money were missing from wire transfers to offshore accounts. So Rasheeda did what any astute businesswoman would do and confronted Kirk. Rather than coming clean like a grown man, Kirk attempted to gaslight her by hitting her with the traditional "Your Rasheeda" clearly wasn't having it. According to what I've heard, she was screaming, demanding answers, and asking Kirk directly whether he was funding another woman behind her back. Kirk, the smooth-talking manipulator that he is, reportedly attempted to shrug it off. Things turned serious when Rasheeda produced receipts. Apparently, Kirk became defensive and began to say that Rasheeda never showed gratitude for him, that he was the one who created this empire, and that Rasheeda hadn't been working with him for years. Down sources claim that after more than an hour of back and forth, Kirk said something that went too far. We're not sure what he said, but it drove Rasheeda over the edge. According to sources, Rasheeda grabbed her phone and threatened to call her lawyer and demand that he give up everything he had. The police report claims that Kirk allegedly snapped at that point, grabbing Rasheeda's arm and pushing her against a wall. Neighbors claim to have heard Rasheeda scream, followed by loud crashing noises. One neighbor even told reporters they heard glass When the police arrived, Kirk was supposedly standing in the living room, appearing as if nothing had occurred, while Rasheeda was reportedly crying with red, swollen eyes. There was a pause, and then someone, possibly a neighbor, called 911. The police interrogated both of them. But when the police asked Kirk why he touched Rasheeda, he allegedly said, "It's not that serious. Excuse me, sir? You put your hands on your wife and get arrested." This is where things get even worse. Kirk was cuffed immediately after they took one look at Rasheeda and may have even noticed some bruises. You already know that Kirk has a history of dubious behavior, but is a whole new low. And the fact that he felt he could brush it off as if it were nothing tells you everything you need to know about Kirk Frost. And you can guess what the streets are saying about him? When the news broke that Kirk Frost had been arrested, social media went crazy. Within an hour, some people were shocked, but most people said, "We've been new because, let's be honest, Kirk's been out here moving foul for years." The only shocking aspect of the tale is that it took Rasheeda this long to finally say enough is enough. And Rasheeda, she's not playing around this time. According to sources, Rasheeda called her lawyer as soon as Kirk was taken away in handcuffs, and she stated that she intended to file for divorce as soon as possible. She also stated that she would be requesting half of Kirk's possessions. If Kirk believes he is going to leave this situation unchecked, he is going to have a rude awakening. However, this isn't even the most outrageous part of the story. There are rumors that there is more to it. Kirk may be a manipulator, but Rasheeda is a businesswoman who knows exactly how to play this game. That this altercation wasn't just about money. It might have been over a secret Kirk has been keeping for years. When you find out what that secret is, you'll be devastated. But for that tea, you'll have to wait for part 2 because believe me, this story is only beginning. When we left off, Kirk had just been taken away in handcuffs after allegedly touching Rasheeda. Remember? This wasn't just a heated argument. Part 1 was messy, and you haven't heard anything yet because the truth about Kirk Frost's arrest is even more disgusting than we initially believed. That went too far. No, this was the outcome of years of financial manipulation, emotional warfare, and betrayal. And Rasheeda finally lost it. To be honest, I don't blame her, but this is the part that will make you choke. It wasn't just about the money, sweetie. There's a whole other. You all recall how I said that Kirk had supposedly been putting money into private ventures, potentially to support another lady. Well, that turned out to be more than just a rumor, and the woman involved, let's just say, that the scandal is going to make Kirk appear much worse than he already does. People who frequently attended the Frost House report that Rasheeda just learned that Kirk had been covertly supporting Wait for one of her closest friends. Yes, you heard correctly, not just any random person. Rasheeda knew her source well. Someone Rasheeda trusted, whether it was an Instagram model or a woman he met at a friend's club, had been in their home with their children, sitting at their table as if nothing were wrong. Rasheeda had been suspicious for months, observing how this supposed friend was living a little too comfortably. All this time, Rasheeda couldn't understand how this girl was able to afford it. All expensive handbags, lavish vacations, first-class flights, until one day she received a tip from another friend who had witnessed Kirk and this woman together at a posh hotel in Atlanta. And guess what when Rasheeda inquired what kind of business they were discussing? Kirk reportedly didn't even attempt to deny it at first. Instead, he struck her with a typical gaslighting technique. "It's not what you think. You're being paranoid," Rasheeda said. "It's chatting around 2 a.m. in a private hotel suite." According to those with knowledge of the matter. Kirk reportedly lost it at that point. He verbally and emotionally attacked Rasheeda, accusing her of being insecure and domineering, before saying the one thing that completely turned everything upside down. "But perhaps if you gave me more attention, I wouldn't have to search elsewhere." Excuse me, sir? It's the same Rasheeda who supported you after you had a side baby and who created your entire empire while you were out prowling the streets. This is how you justify your betrayal of someone who remained faithful to you when all Other women would have left years ago. But believe me, it gets worse, because after that argument, Rasheeda reportedly told Kirk she was done, in fact. Done, that she was calling her lawyer and filing for, according to the police report. Kirk allegedly grabbed Rasheeda's phone out of her hand and attempted to erase the evidence when she attempted to retrieve it. Divorce and Kirk, you all know how these manipulative men act. When they realize they're about to lose their meal ticket, that's when things got physical. Rasheeda screamed loud enough for the neighbors to hear when Kirk allegedly grabbed her wrist and pushed her against the wall. Let's the arrest now, as there is much more to this than just a simple domestic disturbance call. When the police arrived, Kirk wasn't just there. When authorities reportedly questioned Kirk about what had happened, he was blatantly conceited and said, "She's overreacting. It's just a misunderstanding, sir." But here's the thing. How a misunderstanding? That really puts a stop to Kirk's destiny. As part of their investigation, the police searched his phone and discovered hundreds of text messages between Kirk and this so-called friend. Apparently, the messages had nothing to do with business, and Kirk, this man, was out here, and the receipts showed that they had all of their plane tickets, carts, money transfers, shopping trips, and even adorable pet names for one another. One of the messages purportedly said, "Don't worry, baby. Soon as I'm done with Rasheeda, we can finally be together." Planning his escape while Rasheeda was out trying to protect the empire they had created together. That baby Kirk had been transferring large sums of money into this woman's account. Rasheeda's company accounts were intended to receive hundreds of thousands of dollars. But instead, the money she made was used to support this woman's lavish lifestyle. As you are all aware, this is fraud. Kirk wasn't simply he was accused of cheating and financial fraud. And when the authorities discovered that Kirk was transferring that amount of money through fictitious business accounts and personal transfers, well, that's when turned into more than just a domestic dispute. Kirk is now not only being charged with domestic violence, possibly facing charges of embezzlement and fraud. And if those charges are upheld, he could lose not only Rasheeda, but also his freedom. Rasheeda, oh sis, is already 10 steps ahead, according to sources who claim that as soon as Kirk was arrested, Rasheeda contacted her legal team and instructed them to begin investigating. After years of public humiliation, side babies, and now alleged financial betrayal, I don't blame Rasheeda for wanting full custody of their joint business assets and being prepared to take Kirk to court for everything he owns. However, you all know the story isn't over, because people are beginning to come forward about Kirk's legal issues. And what they're saying about him is going to make the entire scandal seem even worse because, as you may recall, the friend Kirk was allegedly involved with wasn't the only one. The woman who is speaking up has receipts, and you will be shaken after hearing what she is accusing Kirk of. However, you will have to wait until part 3 for that tea because, believe me, this story is about to take a turn that you all saw coming if you thought parts 1 and 2 were messy. Now that the story has gone viral, people are beginning to come out of the woods, and the things they're saying about Kirk Frost are delivering career endings. So you'd best settle in for this one because it's going to get even worse. Kirk Frost's legal issues are just the beginning. When we left off, Kirk had just been arrested for allegedly assaulting Rasheeda after she confronted him about transferring money into private accounts, some of which were connected to one of Rasheeda's so-called friends. This was a reputation-damaging situation that could potentially result in jail time. The police found financial records and text messages that demonstrated Kirk had been using Rasheeda's hard-earned money to support this woman's lifestyle. However, guess what? That woman isn't. Not just any woman came forward. According to this influencer who is choosing to remain anonymous, but you are all already familiar with the internet. This woman is supposedly a well-known influencer in Atlanta, and the things she is saying about Kirk are set to make the entire scandal appear much dirtier than it currently is. Detectives will discover her identity. Kirk had been seeing her for more than 2 years, and he had allegedly promised her that he would leave Rasheeda and begin a new life with her. This sounds familiar because that is exactly what he told the other woman. But the worst part is that the woman isn't just coming forward with what he claimed she said. She has screenshots, bank statements, receipts, and even phone call recordings, where Kirk allegedly confesses to deceiving Rasheeda about business transactions and obtaining this by allegedly using Rasheeda's company as collateral. Let's go right to the point, sir. Kirk was accused of cheating on Rasheeda with several women, using her business assets to finance his extramarital affairs, and engaging in shady business dealings in order to obtain a private loan to support his lifestyle with this woman. Could now result in charges of embezzlement and fraud, and this man believed he wouldn't be caught. However, things get even better because after this second woman came forward, other people began speaking, and several sources, including former co-workers of Kirk and Rasheeda, are now asserting that Kirk had engaged in money laundering through their company for years. Rumor has it that Kirk had been hiding money from Rasheeda and the government by using offshore accounts and shell corporations. Apparently, Kirk would move money from their business accounts into these fictitious companies and then transfer the funds into private accounts in his name. And guess who was allegedly assisting him in setting this all up? That's right, the friend Kirk had allegedly been seeing. You see, this was a full-fledged scam, not just cheating, and when Rasheeda discovered it, she was done. After Kirk was arrested, Rasheeda didn't just sit back, and according to insiders, she immediately went into businesswoman mode and is already working with a group of forensic accountants and legal advisors to freeze all of Kirk's business accounts. The real gag is that despite being legitimate business partners, Kirk reportedly breached their commercial agreements with Rasheeda to deprive Kirk of his ownership stake in their businesses by using joint funds for personal expenses. Yes, Kirk could lose the entire Frost empire in addition to his marriage. And trust me, Rasheeda is not playing around. She has already requested an emergency hearing. They should put a freeze on all joint assets until the investigation is finished. If Kirk is found guilty of financial fraud, then his life is over. But here's the part that will truly blow your mind. Recall how Kirk had been telling both women that he was going to leave Rasheeda and start over. According to some, Kirk allegedly tried to sell off his portion of their company behind Rasheeda's back in order to walk away with a clean payout, according to leaked text messages. However, the deal fell through, and you can guess why. Rasheeda's name was on the contract, and the buyer wasn't willing to mess with her without her consent. In addition to trying to steal Rasheeda's money, Kirk was caught because her business acumen was smarter than his shady hustle. Now, Kirk faces more than just fraud charges. He may also be facing conspiracy to commit fraud, which carries the possibility of jail time. The public is also taking a keen interest in this. The news of Kirk Frost's arrest went viral on social media, and people are still talking about it. Even his long-standing fans are turning against him, with some even claiming that his career is over. Let's also take a moment to discuss Rasheeda because she is experiencing a significant uplift amid all of this chaos. Rasheeda wrote on Instagram after Kirk's arrest, "Sometimes God removes people from your life for a reason. Trust the process, baby." According to sources, Rasheeda isn't simply leaving Kirk. She's about to level up. Several networks are considering turning this entire scandal into a documentary series. And I can assure you that if Rasheeda decides to air a series about Kirk Frost, it will be a huge hit on the internet. Kirk is also in a downward spiral, and rumors have it that his attorneys are already attempting to work out a plea agreement because they realize Kirk can't endure a full trial. But the problem is that if Kirk confesses to financial fraud, he will not only lose his business, but also his freedom. Rasheeda, of course, has already stated that there is no way out of this situation at this point. And Kirk faces a failed marriage and the loss of his business, financial ruin, a potential criminal record, and let's face it, he deserves it because Kirk had years to clean up his mess, a faithful wife who supported him through all of his foolishness, a successful business that Rasheeda helped start, and the opportunity to improve, but instead he chose to lie and cheat and steal. And now Kirk is sitting in a jail cell wondering how he got here. The answer is straightforward. Kirk did this to himself. The question now is whether Kirk will survive. The scandal, or if, is the last straw for his career. Please share your thoughts in the comments section because, believe me, this story is far from over. This scandal is about to get even messier, and this story is far from over. If you want to hear the next update when Kirk finally speaks up, because, yes, he will have to say something, make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel and enable notifications. Can he make it through this? Or is this really the end? Rasheeda, on the other hand, isn't holding back. Rumors have it that she's going to blame Kirk for everything. What do you think? Does Kirk deserve this collapse? Is Rasheeda going too far? Can Kirk ever bounce back from this? Now that his career is officially over, leave a comment with your thoughts. Click like. And make sure you're subscribed because, believe me, the next update will be it's going to become messier. Come messier.